She forgot me every morning. But I still took her on our first date. The medical bay hummed with soft blue light as Commander Zara watched the human male sleep in the recovery pod, and her twin hearts ached with something she could not name among her people because they had no word for this strange pull toward another being. The humans called him Daniel Ross, and he had been aboard her ship, the Wandering Star, for 6 cycles now, ever since his small vessel had collided with a debris field near the outer colonies and left him injured but alive with wounds that would heal, but memories that would not stay. Dr. Venna had explained it to Zara 3 times already, but the science still felt like poetry, rather than fact, because the human brain had been damaged in a way that prevented new memories from forming each time he slept, and each time he woke, the last 8 months of his life disappeared like morning fog under twin suns. Zara was a commander of the Calthrine Empire, and she had led fleets into battle and negotiated peace treaties with hostile species and walked on 30 different worlds. But none of that had prepared her for the way Daniel looked at her each morning, with those bright green eyes full of confusion and fear, until she explained again and again who she was and where he was, and why he could not remember. She should have transferred him to a human medical facility weeks ago, because her ship had a mission to complete and diplomatic relations with Earth to maintain. But she kept finding reasons to delay the transfer and kept telling herself it was because the human doctors might not understand Calthrine medical technology, and kept lying to herself about why she visited the medical bay every morning before her shift began. The other crew members had noticed, of course, because Calthrine were not subtle creatures with their emotions written in the color shifts of their skin and the patterns that danced across their shoulders when they felt strongly about something, and lately Zara's skin had been showing colors she had only seen in mating. Pairs Lieutenant Kress had asked her about it yesterday, in the private way that old friends could ask uncomfortable questions, and Zara had told her that she was simply ensuring their guest received proper care. But Kress had laughed that musical Calthrine laugh and said that proper care did not require a commander to personally deliver breakfast every morning. This morning was no different, as Zara carried a tray of human food that she had spent an hour researching and preparing, because Daniel had mentioned 5 days ago that he missed something called pancakes. And even though he would not remember telling her this, she remembered everything he said. The pod opened with a whisper of compressed air, and Daniel stirred and opened his eyes and looked at her with that same startled expression he wore every morning, and Zara felt her skin flush purple with nervousness. "Am Commander, Zara of the Calthrine vessel. Wandering Star, and you are safe here, and your name is Daniel Ross, and you were injured in an accident, and I am your friend." She had said these words so many times that they felt like a prayer or a promise. Daniel sat up slowly and ran a hand through his dark hair and studied her with those careful eyes that seemed to see more than they should. And then he smiled, that crooked smile that made her twin hearts beat in syncopation. "You say that every morning, don't you?" Zara blinked, because he had never said this before, and for a moment, hope flared bright in her chest before reality crushed it, because she had explained his condition to him every morning. And of course he would deduce the pattern, even if he could not remember it. "Yes, I do. How long have I been here?" 6 cycles, which is approximately 42 of your Earth days. Daniel absorbed this information with remarkable calm. But Zara had learned that humans were adaptable creatures who could accept almost anything when they had no choice, and he had accepted his situation with more grace than she had accepted her feelings for him. "The pancakes are a nice touch," he said, gesturing to the tray. "And did I tell you they were my favorite? You did 5 days ago, but you will not remember telling me." He looked at her for a long moment, and something shifted in his expression, and Zara wondered if perhaps some part of him did remember, on a level deeper than conscious thought, because sometimes he looked at her like he knew her, like truly knew her beyond the morning introductions. "Thank you," he said quietly, and not just for the pancakes. Zara felt her skin bloom with colors she could not control, and she turned away quickly and told him to eat because the food would get cold and she had duties to attend to, but really she needed to leave before she said something foolish. But before she reached the door, Daniel spoke again. "Zara, wait." She turned, and he was standing now, and the recovery pod had healed his injuries well, because he moved with the easy strength she had noticed that first day when they had pulled him from the wreckage. "I know I won't remember this tomorrow," he said, And I know you have to explain everything to me again every morning, but I want you to know something." She waited because her voice had abandoned her. "Whoever you are and whatever this is between us, I can feel it. Even when I don't remember it, and every morning when I wake up and see you, I feel like I am coming home even, though I don't know where home is anymore." Zara's skin showed every color of the Calthrine emotional spectrum, and she knew she should say something professional and distant. But instead, she closed the space between them and took his hand in her own, and marveled at how perfectly human fingers fit between Calthrine ones. "I take you on our first date every morning," she admitted, "and even though you do not remember yesterday or the day before, I remember all of them, and I would take you on 1,000 more first dates if it meant I could see you smile at me the way you are smiling now." Daniel laughed, and it was a warm sound that filled the medical bay and chased away the clinical coldness. "Then let's make this first date count," he said. And so Zara did what she had wanted to do for weeks and called in sick to her command duties for the first time in her military career. And she took Daniel to the observation deck where they could see the stars streaming past in ribbons of light. And she told him about her homeworld and her people, and the years she had spent in space. Daniel listened and asked questions and shared stories from his own life, the ones from before the accident that he could still remember, and Zara recorded everything on her personal device because she wanted to preserve these moments even if he could not. They talked for hours, and when the ship's cycle turned to evening, Zara showed Daniel the meditation gardens that her people maintained aboard every vessel, and they walked among the bioluminescent plants that responded to emotion with shifting colors, and the whole garden lit up around them like a celebration. "You should know something," Daniel said as they sat on a bench beneath a tree that sang soft harmonies. "When the air moved through its leaves and I left something for myself." "What do you mean?" "Every night before I sleep, I record a message to myself and I tell myself about my day. And I have been doing this since I understood my condition." Zara's breath caught because she had not known this. "And what do you tell yourself?" "That I met someone extraordinary, and that even though I won't remember her tomorrow, I should trust her completely because she has kind eyes and she cares about me in a way that no one has cared about me in a very long time." The garden exploded with color around them, and Zara knew her skin was showing things she had kept hidden. But she did not care anymore because life was too short, and love was too rare to waste on fear. "Care about you, Daniel Ross," she said, "and I will be here tomorrow morning and the morning after and all the mornings that follow for as long as you need me." Daniel reached out and touched her face with gentle fingers tracing the patterns that danced across her skin, and Zara leaned into his touch. "I need you to promise me something," he said. "Anything. Promise me that you will keep taking me on first dates even when it gets hard, even when I say something that hurts you. Because I don't remember even when you want to give up, I promise." They sat together as the ship moved through space, and Zara knew that tomorrow Daniel would wake up confused and afraid, and she would have to explain everything again, and they would have another first date. But she also knew that she would do it gladly because love was not about being remembered, but about choosing to remember, and she chose him every morning, just as he chose to trust her every time he woke. The gardens sang around them, and somewhere in the vast darkness of space, two souls found each other again and again, across the impossible distance between forgetting and being remembered.